Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to kind of start a video, film a little intro, because this video is going to span over at least the next couple weeks, if not the next couple months. Kind of depends on what order I read things in. But I have seen this trend all over. I see a lot of people doing this, and that is trying to complete all the series that I'm in the middle of. 4 books that I'm in the middle of. 11 plus series that I'm in the middle of right now. I say plus because I feel like I'm probably missing some, or they're on my Kindle and I'm not like looking at that right now. I will quickly go through them, and then my goal is, like I said, to split this into a few different parts and try to finish or continue like a few books per version of this. I decided to start this now because I am already starting one of the books. I was going to start it today anyway, and that is Powerful by Lauren Roberts. So I just read Powerless and I finished it a couple days ago, and I want to read this one, and then I'll probably also include Reckless because it's coming out in like a week and a half. I have the newest release of Freida McFadden's Housemaid series, and then I have the Hawthorne Legacy. This is the second book in the Inheritance Games. I read the first one and really loved it, and then decided to hold off on buying the second one until it came out in paperback. I also have Killer Instinct, which is the second book in the Natural series. I read the first one last year, and I'm really hoping to try to get to this summer. The first one was such a quick read, and I really did enjoy it. I don't know, I feel like it's hard to get into like a mystery series. I kind of like them as being, I can read one of it and just kind of be done. Heartless by Elsie Silver. I read the first book on my Kindle, and then I started reading this one on my Kindle, and I got to page like 168, chapter 15. So I don't even know. Not quite halfway through it, and I was enjoying it. I don't know, I wasn't in a romance mood. I've honestly been working on this probably since January. And then I have one that I don't know when I'm going to get to this, because I started reading the first one back in 2021 was when I read the first book in the series, and that's A Gathering of Shadows. So this is the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab, and I read the first one and absolutely loved it. And then I got like maybe 50-100 pages into this one, and it was just moving so slow that I had to put it down. I heard a bunch of people saying like as soon as you get past like the 100-page mark it really picks up, but by that point I'd already like committed to different series, and at this point I think I would have to reread the first one because I don't remember enough about it to jump into this series. The Dragon Republic. This is the second book in the Poppy Wars trilogy, but I read the first book last year, so I feel like I kind of remember it a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know. I've heard good things about this series. I've heard that it's like heart-wrenching. Technically I haven't started the series, but I'm going to be, and it's already on like my top of my TBR list, so I figured I'd just include it in the list anyway, because once I do a few of these, this one will be on there, and that is Fourth Wing. I still don't know how I haven't read it. I've had it for like a year. I got it when it came out, like right after it had a bunch of hype. I have Iron Flame. It should be at the top of my list because I just reread the Hunger Games trilogy, and that is the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Like I said, I just reread the original trilogy, so I just need to read this one at some point soon because I do want to watch the new movie that came out for it. It is one that I've just put off for too long now, and I was so excited for it, and how I haven't read it at this point with how excited I was, I do not know. And that is A House of Flame and Shadow. I think just the size of it, the sheer brick that this book is, kind of pushed me away from it because I didn't love the first 2 in the series anyway. Compared to ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, like, I don't know, Crescent City just didn't catch my attention. I don't love the modern fantasy. I got 35 pages in and kind of just gave up on it for now. And I know I have one on my Kindle, but I haven't technically started. I think I read like 2 pages of it and then decided to read something else, so I'm not fully counting it, and that's The Serpent and the Wings of Night, but it could potentially be in this list at some point. That's what I'm gonna kind of include, and that is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I know it's not technically a series, but they are interconnected standalones, and I've already read them in the wrong order because I read Just for the Summer, so now I want to go back and read Part of Your World and then Yours Truly. Because when I got them and when I first read Just for the Summer, I thought it was just a normal book, and then there was kind of like characters mentioned. I said I'm going to start by reading Powerful, and then I will update you guys as I'm reading this and once I get Reckless in the mail. So I just finished reading Powerful now, and I know it seems kind of weird, but I think even though it's a novella, I think I'm gonna rate it 5 stars. That's just kind of how I feel right now. Powerless to me was like right on the brink of a 5-star book. It was just slightly lower, but I don't know if like sitting on that I might bring that up to a 5-star as well. But just the feelings that this novella and the amount of like character and depth that it added to the storyline was perfect. I think it was a really nice length. It was just over 200 pages, but the pages are obviously like a little bit smaller. But I think it was the perfect length for a novella. It wasn't like too short that it felt super rushed. Like I feel like we got a full storyline. So far, it's looking to be a 5-star series for me, but I don't want to get my hopes too high just because I feel like there's still obviously 2 books left to go, and yeah, I just don't want to get my hopes up too high and then be disappointed. But so far, I am absolutely loving it. I am now currently up to date on that series, which is good, and I will be reading the next one like as soon as it comes out. I'm hoping to read another book between those 2, and I'm just not sure which one. I'm kind of torn between, I think, 2 different ones right now. I'm torn between reading Heartless by Elsie Silver and The Housemaid is Watching by Freida McFadden. I decided to pick up Heartless and start reading. This was when I actually restarted reading it, and I am on chapter 11 right now of it, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, I enjoyed it the first time when I started it, but I think I started when I was reading Throne of Glass, and like I'd started picking it up as like a palate cleanser, which is just not a good idea because I think I read it for like a day, maybe 2. And then like tried to pick it up like on my phone, on my Kindle, like a couple of times when I was like waiting at the airport for a few minutes or whatever. And then was like, I'm back in my fantasy mood, I want to continue Throne of Glass. And then this book just completely got put onto the back burner and kind of forgotten about. But I am really enjoying it. I love Willa as a character, and I think Luke seems like such a sweet kid. He's portrayed as a kid, but not like, I don't know, he's not like a small adult. Like I feel like sometimes I hear about like kids in books and they're kind of just made into small adults. The way they talk, the way they act is not like any actual kid. It is July 3rd today, so Reckless came out yesterday, and I'm hoping to finish this before this weekend because I want to read Reckless over the weekend. I'm having some friends over for like a book night, and it's not like a book club. We're all just gonna hang out and read whatever books we're currently reading. But I want to start Reckless then. I'm glad I picked this one up. I'm just definitely not in like a mystery thriller mood right now. I feel like at the start of the summer I was, but now I am all for like romance, and specifically Lauren Roberts series because it just came out. But I'm embracing all the romance that I can while the like weather is very summery and just makes me feel like I'm in a romance mood. I am on chapter 20 of Heartless right now, so I have passed where I left it before, and I am really enjoying it. I think the only thing I struggle with this book so far is that it seems a little bit too long. Like for a romance book, it's just, I like my romances to be a little bit more fast-paced, I think. Like this is definitely feeling like a slow burn. There was been points and times where like I feel like we're getting somewhere, and then I think about it and I'm like, I still have like half of the book left, so this definitely isn't like them actually getting anywhere. And then sure enough, something like immediately happens and we're kind of back to square one. It's Saturday morning now, and yeah, my goal is to try to finish it today. I've been reading it kind of at the same time on my Kindle, and I think it says I have like 3 hours left of it, so hoping I can finish it today. Swapping phone time for reading time, and I had like a little review there, but I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth here about it. I don't really remember Flawless because I read it like over a year ago at this point, but from what I remember about it, I did like this one more. I really liked Willa as a character. I thought she was a ton of fun. I liked the growth of Cade as a character, and then I like the storyline. I thought the single parent trope actually went very well here. Luke was written as a child, like he wasn't portrayed as like always acting super mature and like more than what he was. Like he still acted like a little kid. I did really like this one, and I've heard a lot of people say that they like this one, but I think a lot of people say Powerless or Reckless are their favorites in the series, so I'm definitely going to continue the series at some point. But I'm happy that I was able to check one more off the list from this series, but I don't think I'm gonna jump right into the next one anytime soon. I think the nice thing about this series is that you can kind of jump in and out of it because like they're kind of based off things. Like if I wouldn't have read Flawless before this, I wouldn't have known like Summer and Red and how they were together. Like it'd ruin the books beforehand if you read them out of order, but you don't have to read them back to back. And I know the next one is a little bit different. It's kind of like Small Town Hockey Player. Like it's kind of a sports romance in the middle of this series. I think the only downside to this is it's a little bit too spicy for me. There was a whole section in the middle of the book, like probably like the middle like third of it, that was very spicy for quite a while. Not that I don't like any spice in books, but this one was a little bit too much. But for me, the storyline and the plot made up for it. So even though I don't necessarily love the spice, like I was able to get through it. I'm not anti-spice, like I don't want completely closed doors, I'm fine with it there. I don't like books where spice is the book and there isn't really a plot to it. And this wasn't that. This had both. I did really enjoy this one, and like I said, I'm really glad that I was able to check another one off of my list of series. I wish I was obviously finishing the series, but as long as I'm making my way through a series that I've already started, I'm happy. But I'm going to be reading Reckless by Lauren Roberts next. Her new book that just came out. It came out almost 2 weeks ago at this point, which is crazy, but I was in the middle of this book and I wanted to finish reading Powerful. And I don't know, I've kind of started Reckless. I'm on like chapter 2 right now, chapter 3. So I'm like 20 pages in is all. I'm a little bit upset that I didn't read Powerless earlier than I did, because I really do like the plot and the characters a ton in this series. But I'm glad that I didn't have to wait between the two. But a couple of days ago I saw they released the date for the third one. Fearless is going to come out in April, so it'll be nice to finish this, and I'll be able to technically check this series off for now because the last book isn't out yet. But this one is shorter than I thought it would be. I was expecting, I feel like usually the first book in a series is the shortest, but this one's feels significantly shorter than the first book. I think the first book was like 500 pages-ish, and this one's less than 400. So I'm hoping I can finish this pretty quickly, and I think this is going to be the last book that I read for this portion of my finishing book series, because I mean there's so many books that I need to finish. I'm obviously not going to be able to put them all in one video, but I think this will be where I stop for this one. I'm currently on like page 80, so I'm like a fifth of the way through the book or something like that, and I'm definitely enjoying it so far. I like being back in this world. I love her writing, and I love that for this book we're in a different like city within the same world, so it's kind of cool seeing a different city dynamic that doesn't run the same way as Ilia does. And yeah, we're still kind of doing this like cat and mouse thing where obviously Peyton's on the run and Kai is trying to catch her. I am excited to finish this one so that I can fully check this series off my list for now, because obviously I can't read a book that hasn't come out yet. So it is late at night right now, and I just wanted to give a quick update because I just passed the halfway point of Reckless. I've been filming a, like, swapping phone time for reading time, so that's kind of why I've just been doing extra reading after work compared to what I usually do. But I keep enjoying this book more and more as it goes on. Like, I had a little bit of a slow start, but from there it's like steadily gotten more and more interesting and more fast-paced. Like, there's just a bunch of like random twists that keep kind of happening, because I don't know, I think their personalities and the way they go back and forth constantly is a lot of fun. But I don't know, in reading this, I need to change it on Goodreads, but I think I'm changing my rating for Powerless. I think I am going to make that a 5-star. Just because the more I read this, the more I think about the first book and how much I enjoyed it. And so far this one is sitting a little bit lower. Like, it's a good book. I love the characters. But the premise in this one just isn't as interesting as the first one. Like, the first one had all of like the trials going on, whereas this one's a lot more like cat and mouse. They're just kind of like after each other so far. Like, there's not as much going on. Alright, so I have finished reading Reckless now, so that means I am fully caught up with the Powerless series so far. I read both Powerful and Reckless during this, and I still think Powerless is my favorite of the series so far. I think Powerful was very, very good, but obviously it's a novella, so it's kind of hard to compare it. I did give the first two both 5 stars. So I think that kind of says a lot. And then Reckless, I think I'm going to stick with like a 4.5 star. It was good. I love the characters. But I mean, even just looking at it here, you can tell it's significantly smaller than Powerless. And I just feel like there was a lot less going on. And that does make me slightly concerned for the third book just because I don't know what to expect. Like, I really don't know where the series is going to go from here, which is really exciting. But I don't know, I feel like in some series, like, you can kind of tell what, like, the main goal, what's going to happen coming up is, and in this one I don't exactly know what's going to happen. Like, they both left on, like, such cliffhangers and, like, just such bombshells at the end of each of them that I am very excited for April, and I'm very excited that I was able to complete a series on my shelves. Because obviously it's not fully completed, but it's completed as far as I can for now. And then I also read Heartless during this, and obviously this is only book 2 of 5 in a series, but just being able to continue the series on and check another book off of a series that I am currently reading is exciting. And I think I will continue picking this series up more, probably in the fall. I don't know, I feel like this small town romance might be something that I'm interested in for fall. But if you guys have any specific series you want me to work on next, let me know. I'll probably do this again in a couple months, maybe in like October, September, October maybe. And I'll do a couple books during then. It's so satisfying to, like, finish series that you've already started. I used to never be the type of person to, that's a lie. I was gonna say I used to never be the type of person to, like, start a series and not finish it. But I 100% have been this person my entire life. I read the first 2 in Hunger Games, never finished the third until this year. I read the first book in Divergent, never finished the rest of it. I think I read the first 2 in Twilight, never finished the rest of it. This has been who I've been my whole life. I just, instead of coming back to them later, I've just completely given up on the series in the past. And now I really do want to work on finishing series, because since I've gotten back into reading, since graduating college, I feel like I have been a lot better at, like, going through and just, like, reading a full series at once. Sometimes you gotta have a palate cleanser, and then one palate cleanser leads to 4 books and then a new series. And I don't know, I feel like what's beneficial now is I've finished a lot of the big series that I've wanted to read. Like, the big thing was Throne of Glass, that, like, took up quite a bit of my reading last year. And now that I've finished reading that entire series, I feel like I can devote more of my time to shorter series. And I think shorter series are some of my favorite, because not every series works as an 8-book series. There's certain ones that are gonna hold, like, a special place in my heart because they're long and you get so invested in the characters. But not every series needs to be that. And I'm definitely gonna make more parts of this. I'll probably have them, like I said, every couple months. And I don't know, I think I'm probably gonna work on Fourth Wing in the next one, because I'm excited to get to that soon. And I haven't read any of that series yet, but I want to read the first 2 before the third one comes out. Yeah, if you guys like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and yeah, comment down below what your favorite series is, and maybe I will look into that series as well. I'll add more to my list of series that I need to finish, because that's what I need to do. But yeah, if you guys like the video, please like. I post videos every Friday, and they're all a little bit different. Sometimes it's challenges, sometimes it's reading vlogs, just kind of whatever reading things I'm in the mood for, because that's all I do with any of my free time. But yeah, I will see you guys next week. Bye.